about the perimenopause like we have been all week. We've covered what the perimenopause is, how long it lasts for, what age it may start. We've covered the different symptoms that you may feel in the perimenopause, the different phases of the perimenopause, why you get these symptoms in the perimenopause. And today I'm covering the how to. So how to balance your hormones naturally. What are the actual steps that you need to take? So the reason that we're talking about this is I'm Hannah Carr. I'm a naturopathic nutritionist, and I've been helping women balance their hormones through my naturopathic nutrition practice for over 5 years now. My sister is a women's health expert as well. She specialises in breath coaching. She's a yoga coach as well, and we've run a women's health membership for a number of years now as well. So we help women with this every day, and we've learned this through our professional qualifications, through our experience, our personal experience, and the experiences of working with hundreds of women through this now as well. So the first step to actually balance your hormones during the perimenopause is to understand your cycle and understand how it's changing. Okay, so we can't really understand what's happening if we don't really understand the changes that are going on. And this would be ideal for you to start looking at from about the age of 30. So we normally can start to feel real changes from about the age of 35. So you want to kind of get a hold, if you're seeing this video early enough, a hold of what are things like before the changes have started to happen. So you want to know whether you're actually in the perimenopause, and you know that because you can actually track if your ovulation is changing or not. And if you're not tracking, then you don't really know when your mood is changing, when symptoms are coming up, and whether you decide to do this naturally the whole time or you decide to go down the medical route. If you do go down the medical route in the future, a doctor is going to be asking you things like what are your symptoms and how long do they last, and when is this happening in your cycle and any changes that's been happening in your cycle. And so if you're not tracking, you're not going to have this information for them. So it's going to make everything a lot more difficult. So this is really the starting step. It's the least that you need to know. And knowing this can not only just know, when you ovulate and when your period is actually going to happen, so you can expect it and be prepared for that, but also how else you can look after your body during that cycle. So we love to teach women how to live cyclically, and you can plan your exercise around your cycle, because there's some points in your cycle where you've got more energy and some points in your cycle when you've got less. I'm sure that you've become aware of this already, but are you actually tuning into that and responding to that? And there's different points in your cycle where it's going to be helping you to eat foods that are helping you with estrogen, and other points in your cycle where you're going to need more good fats and proteins, for example, to stop your cravings. So this is really important as well, and not just exercise and what you're eating, but also how you self-care, when you extrovert, when you introvert. This can all be planned around your cycle, and you're going to do it slowly. You can't change your whole life overnight, but first of all you're going to become aware of your cycle, then you're going to become of how you feel in different points of your cycle, and then, for example, you may start to change your self-care at different parts of your cycle. And when you see the results of that, how much better it's making you feel, it's going to actually motivate you to want to perhaps change the way that you're eating around your cycle as well, or the way that you're exercising around your cycle. So doing all of this is actually going to help you to balance your hormones, because it means that you're not using all of your energy at the wrong point, okay? Like, for example, when you're not producing as much estrogen, you want to be resting or reflecting or a little bit more introvert, not actually going out there and sort of partying or networking. Those kind of activities are not going to help you. So of course, the women that we work with want to know this information as well, and we've recently run a workshop for them called Cycle Tracking. And we've seen your struggles here in this group as well. You've been telling us about your insomnia, your anxiety, your depression, your hot sweats, and so we want to make this information available for the first time to you as well, which we're really, really excited about. And so you, our wider audience, you're going to have access to this workshop now, and all of the details about cervical tracking. So that's things like, cycle tracking. So it's things like cervical fluid, temperature tracking, like I mentioned about your cravings and what to eat and when to exercise, and finding out all of that juicy information. And so this is really good from, even if you're not perimenopausal yet, if you're seeing this and you're catching it early and you're in your 30s, this is a really good first step, really. And it's never too late to learn as well. This information is always going to be really, really useful for you. So the next part, after you understand about cycle tracking, really is to understand about the emotional and the mental impact of the perimenopause, to really be preparing yourself and getting yourself ready and putting into place what you need to put into place so you're not struggling emotionally and mentally through this time like so many women do. So again, we've had an amazing workshop on this recently by another women's health expert inside our membership, and we got such amazing feedback on this workshop. We know that it is going to be able to help you so much as well. And this is important because there is such a big emotional and mental impact to this puzzle. Yes, there's the physical side, but the emotional and mental impact, I would say, is at least equally as important as the physical symptoms that you may be experiencing as well. So this workshop is going to allow you to deep dive into the impact of your changing hormones, so how that affects your mood, and it explores the different ways that you can actually manage this as well. And there are so many different ways. It doesn't matter what type of woman you are, what type of personality you've got, how much time you have or haven't got. There is something in this workshop that you are going to find ways that will be right for dealing for it for you specifically. So I mentioned the physical body there, and we haven't covered as much on that yet. So we've got some other lovely things for you to access. And this is really for your physical body. It's the menu plans that can help you in the different parts of your cycle. Now, we don't try and eat in 4 different ways because obviously you've got menstruation, you've got ovulation, pre-ovulation, post-ovulation. It'll be a bit complicated if you try and change your diet every single week, but it may be that you can make a few tweaks in the first half of your cycle and the second half of your cycle. So you've got a menu plan available for the follicular phase and for the luteal phase of your cycle. You know what to eat. And also for your physical body, of course, we've got Sarah, our expert yoga teacher, and she's recorded a beautiful sacral chakra yoga class, which I've done myself. And this is really good specifically for the second half of your cycle, when we see most women are struggling. That is the part where energy is really declining, where moods are really up and down. You may start to get some bloating, some pain. So this particular yoga class can really help you ground your root chakra and can help with all of that, with the heightened anxiety, with the mood changes, all of these things that happen after ovulation. And then the last thing is the way that you've been living perhaps in your 20s and 30s, which for most of us, let's face it, is just pushing on, noticing all signs and symptoms and red flags in the body and perhaps just pushing through it because life is busy, right? And we're trying to keep up. But you're probably going to need to change the way that you are looking after yourself. And it doesn't have to be in huge ways. It can be really, really manageable, but for the different parts of your cycle. So I mentioned those 4 points earlier. So your actual bleed, ovulation, pre and post ovulation. So those 4 different points. And it might just be that, you say on a Thursday night, after I've watched half an hour's TV or an hour's TV, that is my self-care night. And, at this point in my cycle, I'm going to do this self-care. And at this point in my cycle, I've got this self-care. So each week you've got a different thing to do to look after yourself. And these are the kind of small steps that can really help you balance your hormones so much more easily because you're giving your body what it actually needs. So all of these workshops are available as a package. We put them together as a peri-menopause package for you, and it's available for just £44 for the next week. So it's available to everyone here. And this is for any women that are interested really in balancing your hormones in a natural way. So this might be the way that you want to start to balance your hormones. It may be that you are open to taking medication at some point, but you would like to try the natural methods first. Or it might be that you're already on medication, but actually it's not quite enough. You're still getting some symptoms and you know that you need to take care of yourself a little bit more. You need to tune into your body a little bit more. You need to know how to take care of yourself. Like, what are the simple steps I can actually do? This is really recommended for all of these types of women just before the perimenopause or during the perimenopause. And we really recommend during this transition time of your life that you really are looking after yourself. So I will drop a link below this video so you can access these workshops for the next 7 days. You can purchase the workshops for the next 7 days. You'll have lifetime access to the workshops. So the yoga you can watch time and time again, and with the nutrition you may make 1 or 2 small tweaks and over time make some more tweaks on top of that. So you're going to build up on these habit changes. So if there's anyone that comes to mind as well for you where you think this would be really, really beneficial for them, please tag them below. We'd love to have this information available to as many women as we can. And we look forward to supporting some more of you who are ready to take action, and who are serious about wanting to see changes during the perimenopause and improving your insomnia or your hot flashes or your anxiety or depression symptoms or whatever it is. There's lots and lots of symptoms during the perimenopause. Whatever it is that you're struggling with, these workshops are going to enable you to help yourself and balance your hormones naturally.